The three pups stared at the name completely bewildered. They had no idea what it meant. Was it some sort of warning? Was the man trying to warn them about something? Regardless, Rocky knew immediately that something wasn't right, and he had to contact the others as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Everest was still walking around trying to find a shelter. She had no idea how long it would be before Jason would find her again, and she certainly didn't want to deal with him again. Everest then noticed that the snow was falling at a rapid pace. That meant the snowstorm was coming and she needed to act quickly. Everest kept walking until she felt something hit her in the butt. She turned around and saw that a tranquilizer dart was stuck in her butt. Just then, Everest began to feel extremely dizzy and sleepy as she immediately fell to the ground. The last thing she saw before blacking out was a hooded figure holding a blowgun. Meanwhile, Skye was flying around in her helicopter trying to find any sign of Everest. However, she noticed that the snow was beginning to fall at a rapid pace, and it was also getting harder and harder to see. But then she caught a glimpse of what looked like a hooded figure carrying an unconscious pup. Skye used her goggles to get a closer look, and she saw that it was Everest. Her first instinct was to inform the others, but she couldn't just let whoever this was get away with kidnapping Everest. So Skye decided to land her helicopter and confront the figure. The hooded figure immediately noticed the cockapoo and tried to run away from her, but Skye growled and proceeded to chase her. However, while she was running, she lost sight of the figure. How could this be? 1 minute she was there, and the next she was gone. Who was that? And more importantly, why were they carrying Everest? Skye had no time to think about it though. Skye got back to her helicopter, but she noticed that her helicopter was completely destroyed. It was as if it was smashed and then lit on fire. Just then, Skye heard footsteps coming up behind her. Just then, a mysterious figure swung a machete towards her, but Skye dodged the attack just in time. She turned around to get a good look at her attacker. She saw a man wearing a tattered jacket with dark brown pants and black boots. She also noticed that this man was wearing a rusty hockey mask to cover his face. Skye immediately ran away in fear as the man began to follow her. However, as Skye was running, she wasn't paying attention to where she was going and ended up slamming into a tree. The impact was enough to knock her unconscious. Eventually, Ryder and Marshall ended up reaching the abandoned campsite. They realized that the place was completely abandoned. They began searching around for any sign of Everest or Mark, but they couldn't find either one of them. Marshall then noticed a shack in the middle of the woods. He and Ryder both went inside and began to look around. They were looking around the shack for a good few minutes, but couldn't find anything. That is, until Marshall noticed some stairs leading up to the second floor. The two went up and saw a door. They tried to open it, but it was jammed. Eventually, they managed to get the door open. They slowly opened the door and looked inside the room, and what they saw shocked them to their very core.